I mean, you can't get much more law than the Mariners have been so far. 3 wins, 3 losses. I mean, that's the epitome of mediocrity. I mean, there's been some bright spots. There's been some games where the starting pitchers have gotten you deep into the game. They've looked strong. The offense has been kind of spotty, and Edwin Diaz drives me crazy every time he goes out there.
He's been pretty strong early. Why is he driving you crazy?
I believe it was opening day even that he came out, he hit 2 batters, and he balked in the inning before finally getting the save.
That's right.
He's pushing his luck a little bit already in the season.
That's right. The wild ride that closers are in baseball. That's going to drive you nuts all year long.
Experience.
It's going to happen all year long, Seth. That's not going to change.
Yeah, probably.
So you're pretty even keel, just like the Mariners are. Yep. You're not excited about anything. You're not mad at anything. You're mad at Edwin Diaz. But
I really want to get excited about the Mariners every year, but there's so little. They give you just these little glimmers of hope, and then they smash them to bits when they go on like a 7-game losing streak in May or June.
Classic.
And then the second half of the season is just empty games.
Correct. So it's tough for Seth to get up about the Seattle Mariners. Dylan, I know you're not a huge baseball guy, but it's new right now, so are you a little interested?
Well, I have to be interested now because of my internship this summer, so
there
I have
you go.
to find a way.
Talk about that. Let's talk about it.
Well, I will be interning with Root Sports Northwest.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be working Mariners games, mostly pre- and post-game for them. So one of the things they told me is like, I was like, what do I need to do to prepare for this internship? They're like, watch our show. Watch our channel and make sure you know what our programming's like. I was like, that would be a good idea. So I've been trying to watch it a little bit. I watched Marco Gonzalez's win over the Giants, I believe. He looked really good
he did look very
in
good.
that win. I saw him, and then really enjoying watching Robbie Cano play. I always respected how easy he makes the game look, how casual he is with it. Just shows how great of a player he is. But very fun player to watch, and Marco Gonzalez would be my pick in terms of pitchers we weren't really thinking about coming into this season of who's going to make a large impact this season. But as a general rule of thumb, I don't try to get overly invested into the Mariners or baseball until like 120 games into the season.
So you know who's going to be in it down the stretch?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. It's a long season, man.
Absolutely. Let us know what your thoughts are on the Mariners. Give us a call. It is 253-535-7332. Again, our phone number is 253-535-7332. Guys, I have one problem with the Mariners, and I'm a fairly big baseball guy. I enjoy it probably the most out of all of the sports. My problem stems, you mentioned the Marco Gonzalez start, Dylan. The next day, it was Felix Hernandez's turn to pitch. In the pregame, they were talking about the goal is to get Felix to about 90 pitches. And from the word go in Felix's start, he had absolutely nothing.
Yep.
He was atrocious. Walked the first batter, gave up, I think, 4 runs by the time the 4th inning rolled around. Just not a great start. Everyone in the park knew he had absolutely nothing, right? There was a point in the game where Felix led off the top of the 5th inning because they were in a National League park against the Giants. The pitchers hit. Felix led off that inning. And instead of, pinch hitting for Felix, even though he wasn't at that 90 pitch mark, everyone knew no chance in this game, right? They didn't pinch hit for him. He goes up there, grounds out, and the offense is bad because he's let off the inning, right? Yep. So the next inning, Felix goes out there, gives up 2 home runs, 1 3-run bomb, and all of a sudden, our score is 9-0 in favor of the Giants.
Yeah.
It made no sense to me. And I want to, want to make mention, I completely understand you cannot win them all. It's not possible. But to roll over in the way that they did and focus more on getting Felix Hernandez his pitches in than to actually go out there and put a competitive team out on the field, that was what had me the most irritated with that game. They had pitchers in the bullpen like Wade LeBlanc, who they brought here to get you 3 or 4 innings at a time, right, Seth?
Yeah. He's supposed to be our long-term reliever.
He hadn't pitched all year long. What are you waiting for? A 4-run game with what the Mariners can do offensively, not that bad, right? Especially if you lead off with someone in the top of the 5th inning, followed by D. Gordon, Gene Segura, Robinson Cano, Mitch Haniger, Kyle Seager. That's formidable. And they just said, nah, Felix, go try and get your pitch number in. We'll lose 10-1. That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for not wanting to tire your bullpen out, but at this point, you're 6 games into the season. Is that even something you should be concerned about?
The other part of that was that they have an off day 2 days later. Today is Friday, right? That game happened 2 days ago. They're not playing a game today. It would not have taken the entire bullpen to get through the rest of that game.
Yep.
It makes no sense. Like, go make Felix Hernandez throw his 20 pitches or whatever he was away from 90 underneath in the clubhouse. Go make him do it down there. Like, get his number in that way. Don't go out there and lose just because you needed to get this guy his work in. Stupid.
And I think it's maybe even more difficult for the people in the Mariners organization to realize than it is for us fans. Felix just isn't the king that he used to be. He can give you 5 or 6 good innings if he's feeling it, but when he's not feeling it, he's, like you said, he shouldn't be getting to that 90 pitch mark. You got to get him out as soon as possible, keep the score close.
Yeah, and I get that he missed time in spring training and you want to get his pitch count up so that you can move on for the rest of the year, but it was pointless. There was no reason to run him back out there. And once he finally started to find strikes, they were ended up in McCovey Cove. I mean, it was a joke.
Well, and Christian, to your point too, I'll agree with you on the offensive side of things. And you can rely on a really good 1 through 7 hitting batting order. Might as well switch it up on the defensive end, pitching wise. So really giving your offense a chance to kind of get back in the game. A lot of weapons, even without Nelson Cruz right now.
And really the reason why this one, and I get it was like the 5th game of the year, and whatever, you're not gonna win them all. I get that. Want to reiterate that. But every single game that the Mariners play this year is going to be important because they're a wild card team at best. They're not beating the Houston Astros. We've said that time and time again, and everyone knows that. So all of a sudden, these games against the San Francisco Giants, the games against the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox, all of a sudden they're elevated. They mean more throughout the entire year. So, they probably weren't going to win that game. I'll give them that. But to be as uncompetitive as they were, that was what frustrated me with Wednesday's loss the most.
And it's not like the Giants are some juggernaut of a team either. They're a bottom feeder in their division.
I would agree with that.
No reason you should be losing by 9 runs.
They restacked their roster with players. Like, if they had that roster in 2013, they're world beaters.
Yeah.
With McCutchen and Pence and Buster Posey
Longoria.
and Evan Longoria.
Yep.
That's stacked. But in 2018, those guys are winding down.
Agreed.
That's a beatable team, and they kind of just flopped. For no reason, I felt. Especially with the off day today. If there was no off day today, I understand why Felix goes out there.
Yep.
But with an off day well within sight, I'm lost on that one, just like the Mariners did.
Well, on the Mariners' offense, it was almost like they rolled over. They didn't even show up. 1 run the whole game. And
Yeah.
Have they crossed over 6 runs this whole year? I mean, granted, it's only been 6 games, so a relatively small sample size, but the offense has yet to really impress me for the names that we have in that lineup.
I would almost disagree with that one, because the 2 guys at the top of the order have been fantastic in Gordon and Segura. Who hasn't been great is Kyle Seager. Seager, the middle of the order will come up with runners on base all the time this year.
Agreed.
And they already have. Like, they lost yesterday. They went 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position.
Yikes.
Why do you think they lost? Ducks are on the pond, bring them in.
Yeah.
And if Kyle Seager's not going to have a great year, we'll be selling him at the trade deadline. I mean, it is what it is. Any other standout thoughts from the Mariners? You guys want to move on?
I just want the Mariners to have a consistent closer. I know
It's not going to happen.
I mentioned Diaz. I don't like that he only has 2 pitches. Granted, he throws at 100 miles an hour, so he can usually just blow up past hitters, but he lacks control, and I think it's too easy for opposing hitters to just guess when they're going to get an off-speed pitch or guess when the fastball's coming and to sit on a pitch. So I really worry that Diaz isn't going to be very successful long term.
That is the nature of closers. There's been like 2 or 3 really, 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 really good ones ever, and like Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman. After that, it's a wild ride no matter what.
JJ Putz.
There you go. No.
Throwback. Wasn't there a stretch though? He had like a stupid number of saves in a row.
You know, he was solid. He was solid, but he eventually flamed out.
Yeah, well,
Fernando Rodney.
always flames
Statistically, Fernando Rodney in a single season, the greatest closer the Mariners have ever had. Ever.
That's sad.
And guess
That
what?
is sad.
The next year, he was garbage. It is what it is. After that, after he left Seattle, he's playing well for other teams. So, closers.
I don't know. I think he blew a save on opening day this year.
One.
Yeah.
It's going to blow 6 the entire year. I mean, it's... I don't know. Dylan, you got any closing thoughts on the M's?
Like I said, I'm going to wait till they're about 100, 120 games in, and then I'll do
See
some...
if they're still relevant.
Yeah, and then I'll do some deep dive analysis.